All right, this weekend on Top Rank on ESPN, the August the 14th edition, Joshua Franco retained his, let's just say his title, his belt. I'm not calling it the championship, against Andrew Moloney. And earlier in the night, Jason Moloney defeated Joshua Greer, to get a high WBC ranking and win the WBC silver title. I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. Got my colleague Big J on the line. And just briefly, even though I already did individual videos to talk about it, but also on the undercard was Arnold Barboza defeating Antonio Moran in a not very, eye-opening performance. Arnold Barboza, 140-pound contender. He is a guy to look out for as far as possibly a future WBO 140-pound mandatory within a year or two. So right now it's Jack Catterall. You had Abraham Nova get a win over Richard Pumick. I didn't really get to watch that fight. I was doing other stuff, but I did get to check out Carlos Balderas' Top Rank on ESPN debut against Fidel Cervantes, and Nico Ali Walsh's the grandson of Muhammad Ali debut against Jordan Weeks. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Jason Moloney, Andrew Moloney, Joshua Franco, and Joshua Greer. So we're going to open up the stage to say that Jason Moloney, 22-2 with 18 KOs, defeated Joshua Greer. A pretty clean, clear decision. We said during our build-up that you never know what Joshua Greer is going to show up. And in my personal opinion, I was on the fence. I did pick Greer, but I really wasn't too confident in that pick. And right now, the question is where Jason Moloney is going to go after this one. As far as Joshua Greer is concerned, where he is right now, unfortunately, is where I expect for him to stay. I don't really know what too much more you can do with him to make a better fighter. Before this, Jason had fought Inoue, losing by 7th round knockout. But nonetheless, he still was able to go 7th round. So let's talk about the fight. I'm going to bring you in now, Big J. What did you like about the performance of Jason Moloney?
Yeah, g'day, mate. How you going? Hope it's all going well over there. He worked off the jab. That's what Jason does. He worked off the jab. Body shots were good. Controlled the fight well, and got that clear victory. I mean, I had it 96-94. I think 98-92 by the other two judges was a little bit too generous. But yeah, it was a solid win by Jason, and he'll just move on to the next step. Unfortunately, he didn't get the knockout, but I don't know if Jason was actually chasing it, but I thought he should have went to the body more because his body shots are really ferocious. But I mean, he got the win. He had a clear win. You couldn't really ask more from coming back from such a bad knockout. What more could you have asked of him? So
yeah,
solid win. Move on to the next stage.
I've always thought that Jason was the better of the Moloney brothers. I covered him back in the World Boxing Super Series when he fought Manny Rodriguez. He did lose that fight, but also, if you don't know, Manny Rodriguez fought this weekend as well and took a nasty headbutt against, I forgot who he fought. Gary Antonio Russell on the undercard of Rigondeaux versus Casemiro. So if you don't know, Jason Moloney is competing at 118 pounds. The current champions in the divisions are WBC, Donaire, WBA Super, IBF, Inoue. The WBA World, which it's likely going to stay, is vacant. So right now, the 118-pound division is the only division in boxing that has one WBA champion currently. And, of course, I don't know if I said it, but Inoue has the IBF. And John Rio Casemiro defended his title against Rigo in one of the worst fights of eternity against Guillermo Rigondeaux. Inoue also has the ring. So looking at the rankings here, Jason Moloney won a WBC silver title, so that's going to guarantee him a high WBC ranking and pretty much his next fight likely being an eliminator. But also, you can see Joshua Greer is ranked number 5 by the WBO, and you can expect, I'm guessing, for Jason Moloney to take his spot. He is ranked number 9 by the WBA and number 10 by the IBF, but Joshua Greer was ranked number 5. So there's plenty of options out there for him. And looking at some notable names that he could possibly fight in there, we're going to leave politics out of it. But Charlie Edwards, Nardine O'Bali, who fought Donaire, Gary Antonio Russell, Rashid Warren. Now, both of those fighters are PBC, but we're leaving politics out of there. He could possibly even rematch Manny Rodriguez. I would pick him to possibly beat Manny Rodriguez in a rematch. You got Paul Butler, who's ranked number 2 by the WBO. Joseph Abeko, who's ranked number 1 by the WBO. And a fighter by the name of Nikolay Potapov. And then you have Rigondeaux number 4. I don't expect for Jason to fight Rigondeaux. So out of all those names that are mentioned, who do you think he should fight, and who do you think they should target?
I think they should target O'Bali for the WBC because obviously he's the former champ, so they'll put him right up there in WBC, or Joseph Abeko for WBA because he's the number 1 contender. So, or even Paul Butler. So any of those names will be fine, but obviously top ranks, they've got to have a plan. There's probably 4 or 5 names that they're looking at. They wouldn't just target one person.
Yeah.
But if he's going to go down the WBC route, I think O'Bali's the way to go because he is the former champ. So he's not going to get Donaire. He's fighting Chocolatito again.
No, not Chocolatito. And Noye. That's what we're hoping. And nothing's official yet, but it's possible that fight could be happening. But also the John Real Casimiro fight could be revisited. But yeah, I agree, with the O'Bali. And just to let the viewers know, even though O'Bali fought on a PBC card on Showtime against Donaire, from my understanding, he is not a PBC fighter.
Yeah, well, the problem is with all these champions all want to having unification bouts, he's not going to get a title shot at the moment. So
he's got to stay busy. He's about 2, 3, honestly, and from what I'm seeing, about 2 to 3 more fights before he gets a title shot. And remember, the guy's 30, both of the twins are 30 years old.
I think he'd probably be better against Donaire, obviously because, Donaire getting to the twilight of his career. How would you think he'd go against Casimiro? 50-50?
No,
60-40
I would favor Casimiro because Casimiro, he's got power and he can fight on the end. He can really, really fight on the inside. The Rigondeaux fight didn't do it any justice because Rigondeaux was running around the ring. But, I would either or. He already was knocked out by Inoue, so I know he probably don't want to go that route again. But between Donaire, you can always, look at the fact that Donaire is, 38 or so years old. So... maybe, Jason would see something there. But Casimiro, Casimiro will probably stop him too.
How old's Casimiro?
I don't know about. He's not in his 30s. That's definitely for sure.
Okay, he's only a young fella, right?
Yeah. But
we'll have to sit down with his team and nut something out. But they'll already have a plan in place for sure. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I found it interesting that this belt was for WBC. I thought they were going to chase the WBA part, but anyway, he's got options. He's got at least 4 or 5 good fights he can have before he goes after another title.
And as we move on to talk about his brother Jason.
Andrew.
My bad.
Right.
Andrew. As we talk about Andrew. He doesn't have as many options, so we're going to take a little bit of a jump cut, and we'll be right back. So we're going to start with the Andrew Moloney post-fight interview. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. You can follow Big J at Old Mate Big J on Twitter, and me at TstreeT Controversy. Here, let's listen in. This was him talking to ESPN's Bernardo Osuna after the fight.
No moral victories in this game, but nonetheless a valiant effort on your behalf. What was different in this third fight compared to the first 2 when you faced Joshua Franco?
Well, I didn't perform at my best tonight, and he did. I think he came back more determined after what happened in that second fight, and he was a better man tonight.
The jab, which worked so well for you in that those 2 rounds of that second fight, how was he able to neutralize that tonight?
Well, he's obviously trained for that, knowing that was what did the damage in that second fight, and I wasn't able to use it as well tonight. But hats off to him. He was a better man tonight.
Anything surprise you in terms of what he brought to the ring this evening?
No, not really. I knew he was a good fighter. But I still feel like why I'm so down on myself is that I feel like I could beat him, but tonight just wasn't my night.
You said before, I can deal with the physical pain, but it's this part that you have a hard time with. Do you still feel that same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I let a lot of people down tonight. I let my team down and I let my family down. We've all been away for 8 months and now it's for nothing.
I don't think you let anybody down. You were courageous in there. You were valiant. You gave a great effort. And like you said, he just had a very good night this evening. Take us through that moment in round 7 when you think you score a knockdown and then it goes to replay and that's reverted. And then you probably go back to what happened in the second fight.
Yeah, the instant replay worked for him tonight, didn't it? It didn't work for me. But look, I didn't think it was a huge shot, but I did think that I landed a shot at that moment and I thought that it was a knockdown. But I'll have to look it back, but that was the call. And the referee has the right and that's why they should use instant replay to make fix errors that are called. So good on them.
Where do you go from here?
That's the hard part. I'll have to use this as motivation to come back stronger, but it's going to be a long road back.
You got a 2-week quarantine before you could see your family, but nonetheless, you over here in America, you've given valiant efforts. We look forward to seeing you once again after you go see your family.
Thank you, and to my family, my wife Chelsea and my son Lee. I love you guys, and I'm sorry.
Your thoughts, Big J?
Well, first of all, he ain't got nothing to be sorry about, so don't worry about that. But good on him. He took that loss like a man. So, he took it on the chin, moved on. Now, what do you think about the instant replay? Yes, no?
I like the in between. I like that, it was just right there on the spot.
Yeah, it was. And it was the right call. And I think there was a knockdown where Franco knocked down Andrew, but they said it was a slip. So it was a fair call by the referee. Referee did a good job the whole way through. And even if Andrew got that knockdown, Franco still would have won on points anyway. So
yeah,
but the whole course of the fight would have been changed if that was a knockdown. But you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
but he just didn't work off the jab. Simple as that. Franco just neutralized his jab, and I wanted to say this: have you got Andrew's record there on BoxRec?
Yeah, 21-2 with 14 KOs.
Yeah. Now, Shakespeare couldn't write a more tragic story, right? So back in 2019, he fights Miguel Gonzalez in March, WBA title eliminator. All right. And then I think in June he has another little keep busy fight because Khalid Yafi, who was the champion at the time, was supposed to fight him after the fight in June. Yafi dodged him for like 6 months. Chocolatito comes along in February of 2020, kicks the shit out of Yafi. Andrew wins a vacant interim title off a fighter called Elton DeHarry, who was a weight-drained bantamweight who fought at Superfly, but had a record of Superfly 2-4. So even though he had lost a fight in like 9 years when he fought Andrew, he was a bantamweight, fighting at bantamweight. His record at Superfly was terrible. So Andrew gets a vacant interim title, so he's a paper champion, right, of a tier 3 belt or whatever. After the Chocolatito fight, WBA promote Andrew to regular champion because Chocolatito becomes super champion. Yay for Andrew. We've got a sort of, world champion in Australia. Everyone's happy. Then he goes over, fights Franco, gets the absolute shit kicked out of him. 2 busted eardrums, busted nose, busted mouth. To his credit, comes back, has the rematch, has the worst screw job on the face of the planet. Name me a worse screw job than that one in the last 20, 30 years. I can't think of one. Maybe what happened to that Fox bloke the other day. That was bloody terrible. All right. So he has the worst screw job in the history of boxing, certainly for an Australian, and then he loses the third fight. How bloody, how tragic is that tale? Shakespeare could write a better, more tragic tale.
And now with it being 3 fights, he's not going to see Joshua Franco again. Unless they meet up somewhere, but they will both have to keep winning. It's not happening. And, the fans, really, I don't want to see it anymore. And, unfortunately for Andrew, I think, Jason still has some, as we said, options. But unfortunately for Andrew, I can't see him headlining another top rank show. Him and Jason are going to switch places, and he's going to be on the undercard.
Exactly. And what the worst thing is that second fight is completely nullified now.
Yeah.
Franco's beaten him convincingly 2-1.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. So for Andrew, he probably should go after who's ranked in WBO.
Yeah, we're looking now. Here are the champions: Juan Francisco Estrada, WBC and WBA, German and Cajas IBF, and Kazuto Ioka is the WBO. So it's Joshua Franco already called out all of those fighters, but hopefully we'll get to see him, Joshua Franco versus Estrada, or a Chocolatito winner, and it's very possible since Matchroom and Golden Boy fighter, as you can see, and Franco is willing to go to other networks, as you can see on ESPN. Now, Jordan Cajas is over with PBC, and Ioka is a fight for Andrew that can possibly happen if Andrew keeps winning. But Andrew's in a very, very deep division with guys like Carlos Caldras, guys that aren't champions. Caldras, Rungvisai, Chocolatito, Francisco Rodriguez. These are guys right there that, Donny Nietes are back. Noberto Jimenez, Charlie Edwards, well, he's moved up. But these are guys right here that, I think, even Kyle Yafai, maybe they can go that route, depending.
You really think after all this time, Kyle Yafai would be a fight worthwhile?
Nah, it ain't worth. Right now, he's got to find a path, and they got to figure out which way he's going to go. Now
I think what they need to do is stay as far away from the WBA and all their garbage as possible. Go after stay away from the WBA until they sort themselves out. Because even the commentators say, "Oh, this is not really a world title. This is just a someone said, whoever it was sanctioning fee, grab or whatever the WBA's up there. I know they make you sick, and I'm not a fan of them, but I stay out of it. I'm staying clear of it. So, they've got a belt for every day of the week until on Sunday. So, he's got some options, but they got to figure what path they're going to try to take to try to get him, to even sniff a world title. And also, how is he doing in the weight? Would he, does he want to move up? Is he considering moving up? Those are some questions right there. I think certainly Jason started at 122. I'm not too sure about Andrew, but see, even if he moves up to 118, 118 is even more contested than what 115 is.
Yeah.
118 is deeper.
Yeah.
He'd be going from the frying pan into the fire if he does that. Maybe he jumps up and goes to 122 because there's not much going on there. That's super bantam. So, yeah. But he said to me the other day in the interview that he's pretty happy to stay at 115 for the rest of his career. So, but, it's a pretty, where would you rate 115? Maybe 6th top tier division in boxing?
Yeah, around that. Off the top of my head, around or so. About, yeah.
Well, because your top 3 are 147, 154, and 118.
And then you got heavyweight, and you got one. Yeah, it's about there, between, 6, 7, or 8.
Yeah, well, I'd say about 6. I think 7 or 8's getting a bit low, but I'd say about 6 because there's some decent champions and decent contenders at 115. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
It's better contested than it's nipping at the heels at heavyweight, so that's for sure.
But closing thoughts on both of the fighters, starting with Andrew.
He'll rebuild. He'll come back. At the end of the day, he's the one that's got to prepare. He shouldn't let this bother him. It's a shitty situation, but hey, shit happens. Move on. Don't let it consume you. We don't want to see a repeat of what happened to, this is sort of like a repeat of Jeff Fennick. Jeff got screwed, lost the rematch, his career fell apart. We really don't want that happening to Andrew. So he's really got to, just focus on, what's next. And because his brother's there, if one falls, the other one will pick the other one up, keep going. So he's got an advantage there. So he can just be undercard for his brother for a bit until he rebuilds. Jason, same story. Have a clear path and then move on to the next fight. I think O'Barley would be the way to go. Personally, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should pursue that. And then if he was to get a win over O'Barley, that would really raise like his stock and put him like in the mix. Like while the Moloney brothers are still out here, making some noise.
Definitely.
So, all right, we're gonna wrap up right there. And next we're
not going to mention Diana.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. The UFC Fight Pass card.
Yeah, definitely. Because Diana Prozac, an former Australian champion, WBC super featherweight champion, she's fighting again on Friday night against, I cannot remember. That's a Lou DiBella card.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now to let everybody know. Let's see. To my man, Dan Rayfield's the best boxing schedule on the web.
Diana Prozac is, without doubt, Susie Ramadan's the GOAT. Diana's the next one in line.
Yeah, she's fighting. Kylie Reese on the on UFC Fight Pass. Kylie Reese, she's fought Cecilia Brakus for the undisputed at 147 pounds. She's fought. Damn, I forgot the girl. Oh, she trains and spars with Ebony Bridges under the same promotional company, and that's going to be on here in the States on UFC Fight Pass, and it's a Lou DiBella card.
I think I saw a tweet from Ebony was the one that brought this to my attention. So, thanks, Ebs. So I'll be keeping tabs on this because it's for the WBA IBO 140 titles. Is that correct? I think that's right.
Yep.
I think that's the heaviest Diana's ever fought at. But she's 42, 43 now.
42,
42.
43 with 9 KOs. High knockout percentage for a female fighter.
Oh yeah, she's had a long. She had one fight in Mexico. I think when was that? Was it about 4 or 5 months ago?
In March. Then her last fight was
like 7 years
in 2014 against Delphine Pursoon, where she was stopped in 9. She fought Shannon O'Connell. She even fought Holly Holm, who lost to her. So she's got a very, very credible female resume.
Oh, absolutely, but she's been out of the ring for 7 years and she's only had one fight. So.
Yeah.
But if she pulls it off, great. But it's just good to see her in the ring again. So it'd be fantastic if she wins. But anyway, just thought I'd give her a plug.
All right, please take your time out, like the video, subscribe. This is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com.